It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Without further ado, here's our fearless host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and I'm excited to be with you today. I have got a very, very special guest on the podcast today. We're doing, first of all, this podcast is, I'm streaming this live and direct right now. So if you happen to be seeing this, you know, I've done it before, you've seen that before, but you're actually getting to see the sausage being made. I'm sitting here with the talented Natosha Devon. And Natosha is, well, she is, if you've ever been in Theater Square, you've probably seen her. If you've been to many of the plays at Theater Square, you've seen her. She's just one of the most talented thespians in Northwest Arkansas. And I'm excited and honored that she even came to me and asked if she could come on the podcast and talk about her upcoming play, Ain't I a Woman, which she wrote, and she's directing herself in this play. I think it's I'll let her talk about the play, but without further ado, I want to welcome Natosha Devon to the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Natosha, how are you doing today?
I'm actually doing really great. Thank you so very much for having me. So my show, Ain't I a Woman, I wrote this play and I am playing all of the characters in it, but I'm not directing it myself. I have a lovely, lovely director named Khaloud who has taken on this project, and I am just so super excited to share it with Northwest Arkansas.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about this play and what was the inspiration behind it?
So I wrote this play in grad school. I got my MFA here in Northwest Arkansas. I went to the University of Arkansas, and we have an amazing MFA program for actors. And so I went there to get my degree, and one of our classes is a one-person show class. So in this class, you learn the techniques and the tools to develop your own show so that you can travel and make money when others aren't able to hire you. And I wrote this show as a form of self-therapy and as a class project, and it kind of just took on a life of its own. I was able to put it into the New Play Festival at Theater Square back in 2019 and travel it to other places. But now I get to bring the full production on its feet to my community. That's
awesome. Well, that's exciting to hear. And I'm glad that, you coming to Northwest Arkansas was huge. I mean, obviously you came here for school, but you stayed and that's a big thing. And certainly we are the better because of it, because we need talented individuals like yourself that are artists and there are many platforms for you to share your craft. And so I'm excited to be a part of this. And so tell us a little bit, let's just get into the nuances of, why a couple of years ago, did you think you would be able to do a play like this?
Gosh, no. A couple of years ago, I didn't think I could be on stage by myself for an hour and entertain an audience. I didn't think that was even possible. But being able to do this show, I've pushed and I've challenged myself. And this story, I didn't think I would be able to get it out on paper within itself, but being able to just be surrounded by such a community, whether that was while I was in school and my teachers and my classmates, and then taking that from school into the community of Arkansas and the community of Theater Squared, and when I tell you this play's success is based on artists who live in Arkansas just willing to step in and help and lend a helping hand and lend their talents and their efforts to this story. Years ago, I didn't think my village and my community would be so great here, but it actually is.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it is, I mean, when you think about it, it does make a huge difference. You are, uh, this is a very, what's the best way to describe it? This is a very, accommodating community when it comes to the arts. I mean, I think everybody roots for everybody else. I mean, of course there's competition, but there's no competition, if you know what I mean, because everybody wants to see everybody be successful, whether it's the visual arts, whether it's the theatrical arts, whether it's music. I mean, every scene has its own unique flavor here in Northwest Arkansas. And so, I have seen you in many circles over the years. And I think the first time that I ever saw you, you were doing some poetry somewhere. And then, of course, you killed us all at the Martin Luther King program this past January. At the time of recording this, we're recording this in July of 2023. In January of 2023, the Northwest Arkansas Council, Martin Luther King Jr. Council, had an amazing event, and you brought the house down at the end with your just what you shared, and it was, I just said, wow, this young lady has amazing talent, and I've seen you in plays at Theater Squared, multiple plays. I mean, you have a I guess the best way to describe it is that you're a versatile actor, right? A lot of actors are pigeonholed, but you are a very versatile actor, and I've seen you play different roles, and you played them with excellence. And so, I mean, it's just something to be said that you can accomplish what you're accomplishing in a place like Northwest Arkansas, which is continuing to grow. I mean, we're just getting our feet about us, right? As we continue to develop, we're one of the fastest growing areas in the country. There's a lot of opportunity here, but just 15, 20 years ago, it may have been difficult to do what you're doing today. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think that I, as well as many other artists, were blessed to be in Arkansas in the now. And not just theater, but like the film of even the scene of even film and how that is growing here. And so as a working actor, I can work and pay my bills and be okay living in Arkansas, that is a rare thing, to be able to be in a small town, what the arts, especially in the acting world, would consider a small town, but to be able to be in what is considered a small town and still thrive and still get to do productions and sharpen my skills and stretch myself in these amazing ways because the community is fast growing. And I am just put in so many amazing opportunities on different boards and working with different organizations. And I think when I think about like 5 years from now, I think even now this all will seem so small. It all will seem like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we didn't have all of these other things that I am more than certain Northwest Arkansas will have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and that's the beauty of it, because somebody with your talent and skill set, you could have gone to either coast and had success, or at least found success, but you chose to remain here in the heartland and develop your talents from that perspective, which I think is really exciting. And it's just, it's paying off. And I think having this one woman play is one way in which you kind of get some validation, right, about the time and effort that you've put into remaining here in Northwest Arkansas and continuing to hone your craft at every level. When I think about the theater and when I think about the dramatic arts, I mean you've kind of done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and it's super exciting. And yeah, I could have left and went somewhere else, and we'll get artists who come down from like New York and LA. They're like, why are you here? And I'm like, you're here too. You come here to do art. So the art is obviously, here. And I don't have to worry about the hustle and the bustle of like putting on a shield to survive in these different spaces. When I'm here, I'm around people who I take care of and people who take care of me. And I don't know if this is my permanent location, but I do know that this is always going to be a place that I consider home and always a place that I come back to.
Yeah. Well, I always say that, and I remind people of this, is that there are seasons for everything, right? And I think this is your season right now for you to continue to refine and do some things before, the rest of the world gets to enjoy your skill set and ability. And I tell people all the time that, listen, there's no such thing as an overnight sensation, right? I mean, the time and the effort that goes into doing what you do happens over years. It's not over days, it's not over months, it's over years. And so anybody that wants to do anything of any value has to put the time in order to be able to have something come out of the other end that you are proud of. And so I think that's, not that this is the final culmination of your skill set and abilities, but this is one example of what you are capable of. And so I'm excited to see this play.
Thank you. I'm so excited to share it. It's funny. It's heartfelt. It's just such a beautiful story. And no matter who you are or where you are in life, I think you'll pull from this. I know you will pull something from this story to better you as a person.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that does the story take place in contemporary times, or have you infused current events and some of the things that we're seeing in the world into the dialogue of this play?
Actually, no. And as political and as much of an activist as I am, I wrote this story from a personal lens. And so I didn't include any of, what's happening in the world right now to this story. I try to stay true in the topic. And so to go back, I believe that the premise of my art is healing.
Yeah.
I love creating art that heals. And in that, I realize that there is so much exposure that has to happen in order for one to heal. And so when I think about what did I want to expose within this particular play, it honestly, nothing that is going on in the world was a factor in that. So, yeah.
I hear you. Not that there isn't enough fodder out there for you to utilize in a play, but it's kind of nice to maybe kind of separate yourself from everything else that's going on and focus on or look at things through a lens that's important to you right now. I think that's important. It's actually one of the reasons why I don't get into certain discussions on this podcast, because while I would love to, and I am a political animal by nature, I think we probably all are in some way, shape, or form. There's enough conversation about politics and religion on so many other platforms that I have chosen not to have those conversations. But I do have them, but in a different way. Where I'm not trying to necessarily change anybody's mind or, get you to come over to one side or another. I'm just trying to, share things as they come about and not necessarily feel like I have to make a point about things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, give us the particulars about Ain't I a Woman? I know it's being held at the Arts Live Theater, which is, and that's from August 10th through the 12th. That theater is a very small theater off of Weddington. I can't think of the name of the street that it's on, but it's really easy to get to. You can get to it from the highway. You can get to it from North Avenue. You can get to it from campus off of Garland. But tell us a little bit more about the Arts Live Theater and why you chose to do the play there.
So Arts Live Theater is a children's theater here in Northwest Arkansas. They do such amazing work. If you all know Mark Landon Smith, he's just this kind and beautiful soul, and he offered the space to me. And when I think about the intimacy that I want to share with my audience, it was just the perfect location. I want my audience to feel like they're in this room with me as I go through all of, these life journeys that this character takes on. The show times for the 10th and the 11th is going to be at 7:00. Okay. And for the 12th is at 2 p.m. You can purchase tickets on Eventbrite. You can type in my name or the name of the show. I try to make everything's super affordable because like I know, I want art to be accessible to everyone. So the tickets are $25, 15 if you're under 30, just wanting as many people as possible to be able to come in and enjoy the show.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, I'm honestly, I hope you have standing room only, really. I just hope that you pack that place out, and I plan to participate and come out and support you and, see what you created. But I know there are a lot of people that, maybe it's their dream to do a play or something along those lines. And I think when artists like yourself step out of your comfort zone and decide that, hey, I'm going to do this, and you make an investment of finances, of time, and of effort, you should be rewarded for that. And so I wish you nothing but success with what you're going to do with this event. And again, I tell people all the time, we all have dreams, right? And I think it's important for us to remember that a lot of times it's, in seeding our dreams and seeing them be, come to fruition, a lot of times it's good for us to sow into and to speak into and to be a part of the dreams of other people. So I'm looking forward to being a part of this dream of yours. And I know that so many people are going to really benefit from seeing you on stage. And so I really want to encourage anybody listening to this, anybody that listens to the replay of this particular podcast episode, which will be a bonus episode on the platform. I really want to encourage you to come out and be a part of this event. Let's pack the house. Let's show our local artists how much they mean to us, because this is, what Natosha is doing is a microcosm of what we're trying to achieve right here in Northwest Arkansas, so that people don't feel like they have to go to New York or to LA or some other big city to experience the arts and to see quality plays put on. So I'm excited. That's all I can say. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. I cannot wait to see this, and I really wish you nothing but success with this play and all the effort and time that you're putting into it. And I do hope that it meets your objective of putting yourself out there and sharing your art with the world.
I really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. And I appreciate anyone who can come out and enjoy it. And I'm pretty sure they'll have such an amazing time.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure that we'll put show notes out. We'll make sure that everybody has the Eventbrite link so that you can book yourself for Ain't I a Woman. If you do plan to come, hit your boy up and let him know so I can see you there. I'd love to give you a high five and a thank you for listening to this podcast and supporting Natosha for what she's doing. And again, I'm sure, and I'm curious to know, and I know we're only talking about this play, but are you planning on being in anything else at T2 in the near future by chance?
So right now we are in audition season at Theater Squared, and I have submitted some auditions. Okay. We're just waiting to hear back. I'm super excited to be a part of that company. We always find good fits for me. So fingers crossed for this upcoming season.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you nothing but the best. And Natosha, thank you so much for joining us on this bonus episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Again, it's individuals like you that make our job so much easier. So thank you so much, sis. And I wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. That's another episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. To learn more about us or to read or download the show notes from today's episode, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. You can listen to this podcast, sign up for our free newsletter, and keep up with us and all things NWA. Sign up today. You can subscribe to the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast wherever you listen to it. And please, please, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Our podcast comes out every Monday, rain or shine. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you back here next week for another new episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes and more information on becoming a guest or sponsor, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.